Hey everybody, welcome to the Market Minute. We got 7 cards to look at today. Interestingly enough, none from Super Slam. It just got dropped on TCG Player, right? That week lag. And we just got to let those cards simmer before we can really do an analysis and take a look at where they're at. So we're going to talk about a couple cards that are almost directly affected by reprints, I think, and then just a couple other cards, right? But I think the effect of the reprints and Super Slam are becoming a little bit evident on some other cards. So let's get right into it. First one up is Heartbeat of Candlehold. Verdant spec, 3 of in her deck. Always, obviously, it's super good. We got the non-foil sitting at $6.56. The rainbow foil sitting at $12.61. Note there is an EA version of this one. That EA version is just sitting around $60 right now. So very hard to get a hold of, but there is 20 some copies still on TCG Player at that $60 mark and going up from there. Inventory on this card, and this is why I want to talk about it. 29 non-foils, 7 rainbow foils. So we're sitting just under 10 play sets of this card available on TCG Player right now. 3-month high low, $2.99, $9.39 is the high, which we're sitting a little bit below that right now. But you can see from the graph, quantity sales are going way up for this. And I think when plow and felling become very affordable like they are right now, that lowers the barrier of entry into those Earth Heroes. And possibly seeing this card being picked up. Obviously, Verdance is positioned very well. So is Florian to do things in the upcoming ProQuest season. So we're seeing a little bit of pressure there as well. So just keep an eye on this card. If you do want to play Verdance, maybe picking them up at $6 is not a bad idea right now, especially with that low inventory on this card. All right, next card here, Germinate, the sister card to Heartbeat Candlehold, Florian spec. Again, a lot of the same rinse and repeat with what I said on the Heartbeat Candlehold. Florian is being set up to do some things in the ProQuest season at the local level. Time to take a look at this card. This card also just got unbanned, so it's interesting. Non-foils sitting at $10.19. Rainbow foils sitting at $12.11. Again, that rainbow foil has a version above it. The AI is sitting just over $50 at $53, I believe, time of recording. So keep a note on that. If you're going to bling, you want to go to the EA, and that's why that rainbow foil and non-foil price is so close together. Inventory on this one also sitting at 29 non-foils, 18 rainbow foils. 3-month high low, again, that banning really showing itself here at $1.14 is the low, $11.49 is the high. And you can really see from the graph that the unbanning just shot this card right straight to that, probably that $11 mark. And then we're seeing a little bit of a tapering off. But with this inventory, I really do think that this card could move pretty well. We're a year out from Rosetta, and it could go up in price quite a bit, especially if Florian starts winning ProQuest. That week 1 pie chart comes out and Florian is sitting there at the top of the pie chart. This card could definitely move. All right, the triple threat here. We got 3 Earth cards right in a row. This one maybe was the most surprising to me when I took a look at it. So Channel the Millennial Tree. Non-foil sitting at $15. Rainbow foil is $11.62. Inventory 10 of non-foils, 10 rainbow foils. So this one's really low. We're talking 3 play sets here. 3-month high low on this one is $2.41, $15 for the non-foil. That is currently where we sit right now. So we are sitting at the peak of this card's price over the last 3 months. At only 3 play sets left. Again, both heroes sometimes want to run this card, right? Less so in Florian now. Verdance dropped off from playing it, I believe, for a little bit. But there is a game plan with Verdance where you can just aggro out heroes that disrespect the arcane that this card puts out. So maybe this is a sideboard card still and comes in. If you want to play Verdant, you might want to be picking these up right now, finding your play set sooner rather than later. All right, we're swapping over to a generic card here. Hold the line. Defense reaction. It's been in and out of the meta a couple times. Non-foil sitting at $11.69. Rainbow foil is $10.31. I don't know. Sometimes those things happen. Inventory, pretty even. 39 non-foils, 34 rainbow foils. 3-month high low, $1.40 for the low. high $11.90. So we are sitting right at that high. And you can see from the graph, the quantities, you want to look at that bar chart, and the quantities just shot way up because we're looking at a brute meta. And this card is definitely very good against Bloodrush Bellows. It does the thing you want, blocking 5. It can block out a claw fully, and that's pretty good, obviously. We got to see on where that meta is shaping out. And on the local level, I could see KO and Reinar putting in some work. Although KO didn't really have the greatest results this weekend in Japan at the calling, right? One did make it into the top 8. And I think that's an indicator. Maybe some lists get refined, or you have a very brute meta locally. And again, week 1 results, you got to pay attention to those because, again, like I said, if Florian is the largest chunk of that pie chart, you could see Germinate go up. If the brutes, Reinar and maybe new KO, old KO, all take up a decent amount of that pie chart as well, this card could definitely go up with only 39 non-foils. So keep an eye on that. And I think this card's very interesting. It's just very dependent. We don't know how strong KO is. I thought he was going to be quite strong, but Japan maybe gave us an indicator that he's not as strong as previously thought. But I think those lists will get refined and he'll start putting in some work. All right, and the next card here is Swarming Gloomveil. Non-foil sitting at $18.14. Rainbow foil is $28.42. Inventory 54. So this one, a little bit higher inventory than the previous cards we looked at. 33 rainbow foils. 3-month high low on this one, $7.68. High $19.99. So we're sitting very close to that high mark. And you can see from the chart, this card just keeps going up. And this is a card on the Runeblade side where the reprints are definitely, I think, are affecting it recently. And this card's ran in Florian, and it's just a staple Runeblade card. I think if you ever want to play Runeblades, you're going to want 3 of these in your collection for sure. And it's currently only in Everfest. So Everfest was a long time ago. No one's really opening that set. 54 is a decent amount of stock, and I think more will come to the market as that starts to dry up. Obviously, with all these cards, that will happen. But it'll be interesting. We're already at $18. This is where this card lived when Florian was like top of the meta, right? It was always like low 20s, high teens for the non-foil, $30 to $35 for the rainbow foils. We're sitting a little bit below where it goes if Florian becomes a force, or if there's new Runeblades announced at Worlds, right? You got to think about that as well. This card just pops off. And so maybe get your playset now before that pop off happens, before the ProQuest season, but definitely not the cheapest. If you got them at that $7 mark, good job. That's a great pull. All right, the next card here is Machinations of Dominion, another Runeblade card. This one really surprising to me, actually. As far as I know, this card is a 3 of Invin set, and really only a 3 of Invin set. Non-foil is sitting at $5.75. Rainbow foil is sitting at $11.77. But the surprising part to me was we look at the graph, and this card is just poking up, right? It just starts below $4 3 months ago, and it just keeps going up close to $6 now. Inventory 40 non-foils, 26 rainbow foils. High low again, $2.65. High $8.89. This card right now, I don't really see Vincent being like top, but if you have a lot of Syndras, a lot of aggro in your meta, you could definitely see Vincent put in some work, right? And this card is super good in her deck. Again, just like Swarming, I think this card is a staple Runeblade card. You're always going to be making some kind of auras. It just doesn't fit in Florian because he needs those earth cards, and there's a tension that he just can't play too many non-element cards in his deck to make it work. But I think if a new Runeblade comes out, this card is definitely a card you want to look at. It's a blue block 3, and then sometimes it does a really good thing, gives a card overpower and go again. All you really want for a Runeblade that makes auras, right? Which they all do. But yeah, just keep an eye on that. The inventory is quite low here. If you don't have a playset of these, grab them now, right? At $5.75. I think you'll be happy you did in the near future, just because Vincent, she attacks Syndra quite well, so maybe she that push and pull happens there. But definitely a card to keep an eye on. And these Rosetta cards, the inventory just seems to be lower than I expected on a lot of them, right? They're not like danger level low where the price is going to spike on many of these. Tree probably could see a spike there, but these cards are just getting to that, okay, price is going to start moving up as sell through happens. So grab these now, and I think you'll be happy you did. All right, and the last card here, the old Scabskin Leathers. Rainbow foil sitting at 36.89, 33 currently on TCG Player. You got 8 copies to 50. High low, we're looking at $22.78. The low high $46.98. You can see the chart there. Brute meta, man. It's happening. You see the sales start popping up as Super Slam gets, all the cards get revealed. And on this one, I think it's interesting, right? At $36, if you want to play Brute, I think you grab these now. 33 sounds like a low number for the inventory. Trust me, there'll be cards that backfill this inventory. So it's not like it's, once it gets to 15 or 10, it's just going to jump to 100. But there are 8 copies to 50. So keep that in mind. I think this card, you could see it, especially if NAR and new KO's got a lot of buzz. There's all of a sudden multiple decks, a tough nut even, multiple decks pulling on this card with only 33 in inventory right now. Right, that card, it will backfill to keep it from going to 100, but this card could be 60, could be 65. As inventory dries up, people reset that price. So save yourself $30 maybe and grab them now if you want to play Brute, and hopefully then you don't get caught. All right, but that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll check you next time. Peace.